since I discovered what the recorder could do. 3 days since I learned about Thomas Warren. 3 days of whispers, of scratching sounds in the walls, of shadows moving at the corner of my vision. I haven't slept. Not really. Just brief moments of unconsciousness before the dreams start. Always the same dream. I'm standing in a room lined with recorders identical to mine. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Their reels turning in perfect synchronization. And in the center of the room, a figure hunched over a table, transcribing something onto ancient parchment. It never turns around. I never see its face. But I know it's aware of me, waiting for me. The address I found in my research about Thomas Warren led me to the oldest part of the city. Streets that don't appear on modern maps. Buildings that seem to belong to another century. The rain has been falling for hours, transforming the world into a blur of gray and black. Appropriate, I suppose. The recorder sits on the passenger seat beside me. I tried to leave it behind. Locked it in a drawer, buried it in the back of my closet. It always found its way back. Always appeared wherever I was. So I've stopped fighting it, stopped pretending I have a choice. The shop stands at the end of a narrow alley. No sign, no display window, just a weathered wooden door with a small brass plaque. Antiquities and Curiosities, Estina 1891. According to my research, over 24 cursed items have been traced back to this location over the past century. Items that brought misfortune, madness, or death to their owners. Items like my recorder. The interior is exactly what you'd expect. Dimly lit, cluttered with objects from every era. Furniture, paintings, jewelry, toys. The air heavy with the scent of dust and old paper and something else. Something metallic and vaguely sweet, like blood. "Hello?" I call out. No response. I move deeper into the shop, recorder in hand. Its reels are turning slowly, though I haven't pressed any buttons. It's been doing that more often lately, operating on its own. At the back of the shop is a glass display case. Inside, arranged in neat rows, are various recording devices. Phonographs, wire recorders, early dictaphones, and an empty space, rectangular, dust-free, exactly the size of my recorder. "You brought it back." The voice comes from behind me. I turn to find an elderly man watching me. He's tall, painfully thin, with skin like parchment stretched over bone. His eyes are the pale blue of winter ice. "I didn't think you would," he continues. "Most don't. Most can't bear to part with it once the process has begun." "What process?" I ask. "What is this thing?" The old man smiles. His teeth are too white, too perfect for his ancient face. "A recorder," he says simply. "It records." "It records thoughts," I say. "Things I never said aloud." He nods. "That's just the beginning. It records memories next, then fears, then desires. Everything that makes you who you are, everything you've hidden, even from yourself." The old man glances at the recorder. The reels are spinning faster now, though neither of us has touched it. "It's hungry," he says. "It's always hungry." "What is?" I demand. "What's inside this machine?" The old man moves to a bookshelf nearby. From between two massive leather-bound volumes, he withdraws a thin folder, yellowed with age. "Manufactured in Switzerland, 1974, he says, opening the folder. 100 units produced. 99 worked as intended. High-end recording equipment for studios and broadcasters. But one," he looks up at me. "One was different." He shows me photographs, newspaper clippings. The earliest from 1975, a sound engineer in Zurich found dead in his studio, the walls covered in writing, symbols no linguist could identify. Then 1978, a radio host in Berlin who broadcast his own suicide, claiming voices from his equipment had commanded him to do it. 1983, Thomas Warren. "And now you," the old man says. "The latest in a long line of custodians." "I don't want it," I tell him. holding out the recorder. "Take it back." The old man steps away, hands raised. "I can't. None of us can. It doesn't work that way. It chooses, and once chosen, the relationship continues until completion." "Completion of what?" "The translation," he says. Lightning flashes, illuminating the shop in stark white for a split second. In that moment I see it. The walls behind the shelves, behind the furniture and paintings, are covered in the same symbols I found etched into my skin. Thousands of them. Millions. "What is it translating?" I ask, my voice barely a whisper. "Something ancient," the old man replies. "Something that existed before human language, before human thought. It needs our minds to understand it, to process it into a form it can use. Each custodian translates a piece. Each piece brings it closer to completion." A piercing sound fills my head. The recorder's reels are spinning so fast they blur. On its surface, symbols begin to appear, etching themselves into the metal as I watch. "What happens when it's complete?" I ask, dreading the answer. The old man's face is grave. "It returns." "Returns where?" "Not where," he corrects. "What?" "It returns to what it once was, what it longs to be again." The whispers start again, louder than ever before, not just in my head now, but in the air around us. Hundreds of voices speaking words I don't understand but somehow recognize. Words that feel like they've always been inside me, waiting to be remembered. "You need to leave," the old man says urgently. "It's not safe for you here. Too many recorders in one place. Too many fragments of it under one roof." The proximity accelerates the process. I recognize some of the voices now. Thomas Warren, the Berlin radio host, the Zurich sound engineer. All the previous custodians, their voices preserved in the recorder. Their final thoughts, their final moments, played back in an endless loop. And behind them all, that ageless voice from my dreams. The circle grows. The words take form. Soon, so soon. Objects throughout the shop begin to shake. Glass cases vibrate. Pictures fall from walls. The old man looks terrified. "Go," he shouts, "before it anchors here." I run for the door, clutching the recorder. As I reach for the handle, I glance back. The old man stands motionless amid the chaos, watching me with those ice-blue eyes. But now there's something else, something behind him. A darkness deeper than shadow, vaguely humanoid but wrong in ways I can't articulate. It seems to flow around him, through him. I sprint back to my car through the downpour. Lightning fills the sky. Each flash reveals strange silhouettes on the surrounding buildings, figures watching me from rooftops and windows. Figures that disappear in the darkness between strikes. Inside my car, drenched and gasping for breath, I look down at the recorder. The symbols etched into its surface are already fading, sinking beneath the metal like they're being absorbed. The reels have stopped turning. What the old man told me about the recorder, about the translation, it fits with what I've experienced. The way it extracts thoughts, memories, the way it seems to process information through me. I'm not its owner. I'm its tool, its conduit. But knowledge doesn't equal power. Not in this case. Knowing what the recorder is doing doesn't help me stop it. Sound effect. Car driving on wet pavement. On the drive home, I try to make sense of it all. If each custodian translates a piece of whatever ancient thing is trapped or stored within these recorders, what's my piece? What information is it extracting from me specifically? The answer comes as I pull into my apartment parking lot. Jesse. What happened that night? The secret I've kept for 7 years. The recorder doesn't just want any thoughts or memories. It wants the ones that define us. The ones we've built our lives around, whether through guilt or fear or shame. It wants the core of who we are. I enter my apartment, dripping rainwater onto the floor. The lights don't work. Power outage from the storm, probably. I use my phone's flashlight to navigate to my desk. I place the recorder on my desk and collapse into my chair. Exhaustion washes over me. 3 days without real sleep. The adrenaline from the shop fading. I can barely keep my eyes open. My phone lights up with a notification. New email. No sender name. The subject line: "You're not the only one." The body contains an address and a time. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. And a message: "Others like you. Others with recorders. We're meeting. We might have found a way out." I should be skeptical. It could be a trap. But at this point, what choice do I have? Whatever this thing is, whatever it wants from me, I can't fight it alone. As I sit in the darkness, the recorder's reels begin to turn again. Slowly at first, then faster. A sound emerges from it. Not a whisper this time, but a voice. Clear. Distinct. A voice I haven't heard in 7 years. "Alex? Can you hear me? Alex, please. I'm still here. I've always been here. Why did you leave me, Alex? Why didn't you help me?" Jesse's voice. Perfect in every detail, exactly as I remember it from that night, from the last time I saw her alive. "It's cold here, Alex. So cold. And I'm not alone. There's something else here with me. Something that's been waiting. For you. For all of you." The recorder falls silent. The reels stop turning. But in the darkness of my apartment, I sense movement. Something shifting in the shadows. Something watching me. When my eyes adjust, I see it. The same figure from the shop standing in the corner of my room. A darkness deeper than the darkness around it. Vaguely human-shaped, but wrong. Proportions slightly off. Movements too fluid. It doesn't speak. Doesn't move toward me. Just watches. And somehow I know. This is what lives inside the recorder. This is what all those custodians have been helping to translate. To restore. To return. Tomorrow, it seems to say, though no words are actually spoken. The others. The circle will be complete. The lights come back on. The figure is gone. But the recorder sits on my desk, its reels turning once more. Recording. Always recording. Tomorrow I'll meet these other custodians. These other people with recorders like mine. Maybe together we can find answers. Find a way to stop whatever process we're part of. Find a way to break free. Or maybe it's already too late. Maybe it was too late the moment I opened that package. As I prepare this recording, I can feel it happening again. Symbols appearing on my skin. Words forming in my mind that I've never learned but somehow understand. The translation continuing, with or without my consent. And somewhere beneath it all, Jesse's voice, calling to me, reminding me of what I did, what I failed to do. If you're listening to this, it means I made it to tomorrow. Means I survived another night with this thing. Means there's still hope. But if you hear whispers in your recordings, if you find symbols on your skin when you wake, if the shadows in your room seem deeper than they should be, then you're already part of it too.